Hi there, my name's Sarah and I'm a Stampin' Up, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Top Tips Tuesday. Yeah, I missed last week because I was on an annual holiday with my husband, but back again this Tuesday, so here we go. Right, I don't know if you all know what this is. This is called a Stamparatus, or Stamparatus, I think most people call it. It's been with us for a good couple of years now, I think. And basically what it is, it's a stamping platform, but it's not just that, it does so many things. You can see there's these plates that come off, they lift off and they're hinged. They hinge backwards and forwards, and there's two of them. Now I will be showing over the next couple of weeks or months, I'll be showing and demonstrating some things that you can do with it, because it's a marvellous tool, but to get the most out of it you need to know how to use it, don't you? So today I'm going to be showing you hinge stamping, but first of all I'm just going to give you a quick description and show you where it is in the catalogue. Right, so it's on page of the new main catalogue, our new one. It's on page 164 and it's here. You're not going to be able to read, but I'm going to read out what it says. It's £46, which I know is a considered purchase, but as I say, it can do so many things. It says it's the Stamparatus stamp positioning tool, helps you stamp perfect crisp impressions every time. You can easily align stamp images, including two-step stamping stamps, get complete ink coverage even on large stamps, and stamp multiples of the same project without using multiple blocks. The Stamparatus has all the features you want: two magnets to hold the paper in place, foam mat to use with photopolymer stamps, rulers, blah blah blah. It goes on. So yeah, and there's lots of, as you can see, there's lots of accessories to go with it. I do have most of the accessories, although I do realise that I need to get the deluxe foam mat, which is ideal if you're using photopolymer, which is what I'm going to be using today. It comes with, you can also buy a lovely bag to put it in if you want to take it somewhere. That's lovely, and it matches our other bag, our tote holder. Anyway, so yeah, I can't show you all the things that it does today because it does so many things, but I can cover hinge stamping, that's for sure. And I'll come back to the catalogue in a minute and I'll show you some of the stamp sets that are marked hinge stamping, and that will go with it, that you can use it. Oh, just to let you know, on the back is where the magnets are stored. It comes with these magnets, but you can see mine I've covered mine with washi tape, purely to give it a little bit more protection, because I have to say the magnets, they are so super powerful, and that's why they're apart. Even if they go near each other, they will cling and they can break. So you do have to be a bit careful with magnets. So yeah, you can protect them with masking tape, washi tape, and you can see they're still very grippy, you can hear. But I'm going to use one, I may need two. But yeah, keep them on the back, and that's the ideal place to store them. I think we do. Yeah, you can get replacement magnets as well, so that's good. I just checked in the book. Right, so for today, without further ado, I'm using this stamp set called Pattern Play. Now you can see it's got images like this. Now this is ideal for hinge stamping, and I'm going to demonstrate to you, because what you can do, you can see your stamp. Now you could do that with just a block, but you'd have to probably measure or be very careful very carefully by eye. But with the hinge method, it just does it, and every gap in between will be perfectly the same. Also, you can do your words, whatever words you've got, and you can do them down your page. And then there's another pattern I've shown on the back, so I'm just going to show you and demonstrate some of those. So here we go. What should we do? The lines first. So I'm going to show you how to set it up. It's not difficult for this, and we only probably will be using one plate, so you can remove one of the plates. They remove just to make it a little bit easier. Doesn't matter which one you use. And so we'll place the cardstock. I'm going to not put it in the corner. I'm going to put it there, so we will need the magnet on just to hold the paper in place, because it will grip otherwise. I'll just place the stamp's nice and clean, so not a problem about that. Actually, I think I will get the other magnet out, just to be, so I know it's going to hold well and truly in place. Sometimes the magnets do get in your way a little bit as well, but you can move them, so it's not an issue. So I place that there. This is absolutely ideal if you're doing multiple card making, if you're doing thank you cards or Christmas cards, and you want to do same design, and you just want to do lots of them. You can see that just will stick a little bit, so it pulls up a bit. So just make sure you're using your grid paper you're nice and straight and level. But yeah, ideal for multiple designs. Just make sure you can see me. Right, nice, good idea. Another little tip is just to put a stamp set underneath there, just to give you a nice something firm to stamp on, or to ink up on. So we're using Melon Mambo so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to ink it up and just press it down. Now, what I'm right, this is good. I can show you another little tip. I don't know if you can see here. I can't move it, otherwise I won't line it up again. You can see it's not quite inked here. There's a little bit. So what we can do, I did do that on purpose actually. I didn't press down as hard as I should have done. You do have to try and press down all firmly all over. So, but what we can do, the fantastic thing is, we can just do it again. Make sure you put pressure all along, and it perfectly goes back in the same place. I don't know if you can see that. Now, to do that with a normal stamp would be very, very difficult. Even with photopolymer, it would be difficult to line it up perfectly. But it did it that time. So we're going to move the magnets up there so they're not in the way. And we'll keep that one down there. And then, hopefully you can see this, it's on the top hinge here. I'm just going to lift it up and move it down one. There we go. Ink it up again. And press down again. Now you might feel that magnet's in the way. If it is, just move it and then you can press it down and it's not going to be in your way. You can just hold your paper as you come up. There we go. So you can see that one's a little bit lighter. Now you could leave it like that. That's because I went down on that one twice. Or you could ink it up again. But for the benefit of this, I'm not going to. I'm just going to move it. But you can see you could get a nice, using different colours, you could get a nice gradient. So you could do the first image in the colour. Then you could not ink it up and stamp it again. Actually, let me show you what I mean. So I won't ink it up again, and I'm going to I've moved the hinge down, and I'm just going to go down. And what you'll get is a graduated colour effect, and it's not quite coloured. So hopefully that's not lifted up too much. And we'll just press down again. But this is where the Stamparatus really comes into its own. Okay, it's not quite lined up, it went a little bit. I think that's because the magnets picked up the cardstock. So I'm going to realign that so it's level. But hopefully you can see I'm going to move the hinge again. You can get different effects by just not inking it up. We could change the colour, so you could get a rainbow of colours down here if you wanted to. But yeah, this is the main thing. Yeah, again, it's not quite caught it down there, so a little bit of ink in that area, just a little bit of pressure, and you can goes in again. Alright, so, and then I'm just going to turn it over. I wouldn't normally use the other side of the cardstock, but just for the benefit of this I will. Just going to clean my stamp and then just change it over to, what should we use? We'll do the words next, I think, and then we're going to do that stamp. But yeah, as I was saying, this is just one of the many things you can do with it. The main purpose thing is that you can, as I say, if you don't, you'll actually see me demonstrating it tonight on my Facebook Live, because I'm doing a silhouette scene where you want a really dark black image, and you don't always get that on the first stamp image. But when you've got this, you can just go over it 4 or 5 times in the same place, and it will it will build the ink up, and it's fab. So we're going to just put that there. Oh no, we don't want it off the page. So should we? Yeah, we'll keep with pink. We'll keep with the Melon Mambo. It's so sticky. It does, the polymer things are sticky, so it lifts it up a little bit. So you just have to be a little bit careful with that, so it doesn't move. But that's why a lot of the time, actually, if I show you there, yeah, ideally, if you buff it, you probably can't see. If you buff your cardstock right into the corner, you know as long as you put your cardstock there every time, it is going to be lined up. So that makes it easier as well. But it kind of depends on what design you're doing, whether you can do that or not. the purpose of this we can. So if it moves, which it didn't because obviously it's holding it in better there. I don't know, you can clean it. I don't know what these are made of. These are like a, I don't know, plasticky, very hard wearing though. Oh, I do keep forgetting to move it. Right, here we go. So move the hinge. Obviously you could change colour again after you've cleaned your stamp. As I say, for the purpose of video, I'm just going to keep with the same colour. Move it again. Now you can see I'm getting it on the thing here. It shouldn't transpose over to the thing. I think it's off the paper anyway. But if you're bothered, you can keep cleaning it. Just put pressure down where the stamp is. So I think you can get the gist now. How lovely a card can be. Not sure if I've just moved my camera, sorry. And just keep stamping. It would look lovely in different colours. It would look lovely as a, what do they call that? The variegated effect. Ombre. That's the word. And probably just can't quite fit one at the bottom, but we might be able to get the top of it on. So I'm going to try it. Just going to move my mag. Oh, see what I mean? You have to be so careful. Luckily they didn't break, and the washi tape will help that. Oh goodness me! So you can see how strong they are. So yeah, very good idea to just keep them apart. Yeah, just get a little bit of the word at the top there. There we go. Oh, did it again. Be careful, Sarah. And so we've got the words. Now I'm going to run out of cardstock now to do what I was going to show you, but let's see if I've got a little bit here that I can demonstrate on. It's not a proper card front, but it will do. So, oh, I don't generally have both magnets out, I must admit, a lot of the time because of that. Right, I think we'll change colour this time. I will go with the pink and then we'll come back with the blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off, pull it back to the top, and we're going to go on this side. You just got to imagine this is a card front. And just trying to think of a different design, what I did before. What did I do before? No, we'll just, so move the hinge. So you can see why it's called hinge stamping. And so I will show you in a minute. There's quite a few stamp sets in the catalogue now that lend themselves well to this technique. I'll do one more. Right, now I do have to make sure I clean it really well at this point, because I'm going to change colour, clean it and make sure it's dry, because I'm just going to place it on my cardstock where I want it, trying to make sure it's central. Go back up with the plate. I hope you're seeing all this. I keep forgetting to watch the screen. Right, here we go. So I'm going to go with a different colour this time. Our new Misty Moonlight blue, which is lovely. So ink it up again. Stamp it. Go down to number 2 hinge. You can see you don't have to think much about it. You just follow the hinges basically. And you know you're going to get perfect stamping every time. And I have to admit, even though I've been a demo for 6 years, I don't get perfect stamping every time, but with this it really does help. And there we go. So you can see on a card front, you can have that. You could have some words in between there if you wanted to. You could continue with the cue the confetti in between. The world is your oyster, as I say, and I'm gonna show you some samples in the catalogue now, which hopefully will explain a little bit more as well. So that's that. I'm going to put the magnets away before I break them. There we go. You can see why it's nice to house it in a bag as well, because that protects it. Move the stamp off, otherwise I'll end up losing it. So put that back on there. You can't actually store it with both plates on because they won't. Oh, let me show you. So that one falls nice and flat and flush to the platform. You can see that. If you don't put this one on, it won't go, and don't, let me show you, and don't force it. So that's like that. So don't force it down because it will break. It will only, you can only just house the one, but you just put that on top and put it in your bag if you've got a bag, and then it's all together. So it's not a problem. Right. Now for the catalogue. As I say, I showed you the catalogue page with the Stamparatus itself. Oh, and I'm now going to show you some Hinge stamping. So we're going to go to page 102. So I have got all my numbers written down rather than wasting your time looking for them all. Oh yeah, I'll just go to page 39 first because that does explain a little bit in the catalogue about Hinge stamping. So it's I'm not going to see that. So up here on page 39, it says stamping in style. It just says take your stamping to the next level with a Stamparatus. Here's how. Do the hinge step stamping by stamping an image, moving the plate down one hinge and stamping it again. Create multiple projects with ease. Build quick patterns and scenes. If you like this technique, look for stamp sets marked with the hinge step in the description. And this description, that's not on this one. It's not on that one. Oh yes, it is. Beg your pardon. Here we go. So it's quite small to see. So here's all the description and the hinge step. You can see it says it there. So any of the stamps that you look for in the book that says hinge step, you know it'll work really well with Stamparatus. I'm not sure you can still see that. So it's quite small. Either the two-step or the hinge step. All right. I haven't unfortunately got this tile set. I do love it. I think it's lovely, and especially I love the Namaste. But yeah, it's on my wish list. But I have got page 102, the patterns play, which I've just showed you, and this comes with the lovely die cut letters alphabet as well, which they are brilliant. They are fab. Been playing with those as well. So yeah, that's on here. So yeah, yet again in the description you can see I've highlighted it because I own this one. Can you see where it says hinge step? So that's what you need to look for in the catalogue. That's it. And that's one. It's basically any images that either are long widthways or lengthways. You can see, I think when I show you them you'll get the general idea of what will work and what won't. But by all means have a play. I'm not saying things won't work because you never know. So here's one set called Borders Abound. Lovely borders that you can create across. So I think you can get the general idea of what you could do with that using Stamparatus with different colours. And they've done a card doing it that way basically. Look, you can see they've gone across. They've gone. I think they've used two. They've actually used two stamps and gone in between. So that's very clever. And then what was the other one? Page 33. There may be even more than what I've pointed out. I just had a quick look through. So there's this one called Whiskey Business. Now I think that's referring to this lovely wood grain here. That you could just do a whole image of a page. Not sure whether you'd get a gap in between. I don't think you would actually, because the way it's designed like that. So you should get a whole. I'm not sure if they've done it on there. They may have done it on that one. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just one of those things you'd have to play around with. And then the last one is the last one that I found. No, I've found a couple actually. Page 37. This doesn't actually say it's hinge stamping, but I think it might work. Because you can see you've got that lovely pattern there, repeating pattern. So I'm thinking that could work nicely with the hinge step stamping. That's a bit of a mouthful. And last but not least, the last one I found was called Palette Thoughts on page 137. And yet again, it's like a wood grain. You can see that one better. It's a huge big bit of wood grain, and that would work as well. And yet again, that says Hinge step in the description. So hopefully that's given you a little bit more of an idea about how to use the Stamparatus and what those Hinge step means in the catalogue. And yes, in the next, I'm not saying it'll be next week, but just definitely in the future, I will be doing more techniques to show you how to use your Stamparatus to its full benefits to get the good value out of it. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.